that should be along shortly. My name is Catherine Hayes, and I'm a journalism lecturer here in the journalism department in UL, and I am delighted to welcome you all here today. Today is a very exciting day for us in the journalism department in UL. It's a very exciting day, a very proud day for our students. Our fourth year students, final semester of fourth year, who we thought it, and nearly halfway through the semester. They've been working extremely hard since the beginning of the year, along with some of their colleagues who are studying our master's programme on Limerick Voice. So for anyone who doesn't know yet, but hopefully most of you are aware, Limerick Voice has become an award-winning multimedia news project, which has become very much an integral part of journalism education here in UL. And it provides our students from first year, and delighted our second years are here today, they're reporting on the event, but it provides all our students an opportunity to get real world experience working on a real news project, and most importantly building that all important portfolio, which is really important as they enter the big bad world of work, which our fourth years will be doing very soon. So today is an exceptionally proud day because we still have, notwithstanding how we have migrated online, we still have a physical edition of The Voice. So the newspaper, the 40-page, I've said it a few times I think, 40-page supplement that you have in your hands today is our annual newspaper, which we are extremely proud to say is available free and published this weekend with the Limerick Leader. So we have an ongoing partnership with the Limerick Leader, the oldest regional title in Ireland. A place of very warm place in my heart where I got my first journalism job. Delighted that the first female editor of the Leader, the managing editor, Owen Fitzgerald, is among our invited guests today. We're also thrilled to have Councillor Elena Secas, who's from the parish and living locally, and representing our Mayor John Moore here today. So thank you both so much for joining us. Also by Department Head Yvonne Cleary. We couldn't do what we do in Limerick Voice and in the journalism department without the support of our department, our wider department. We are in the School of English, Irish and Communication. So Yvonne is such a support to me personally and professionally because it's becoming increasingly harder to do what we do in current budget constraints. So I really appreciate the support and indeed the wider faculty support. So our Dean Sandra Joyce, Dean of our Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences. I have other people in UL that I'm going to thank as well, and I'll do that now, just while we're waiting for our Dean is going to speak first before I introduce you to our team. But I want to thank especially Jane Haynes from our Marketing and Comms department. I've got many great friends in our Marketing and Comms department who work really hard and who are really supportive of Limerick Voice, and it's really important that we have editorial independence, and because sometimes not all our news is good news, because that's what journalism is about. And I really appreciate the hard work that Laura Ryan, Sheena Doyle, Alan Owens, Andrew and Jane and all the team in Mark Comms, Katie McCullough, and there's so many to mention. This beautiful space that we're in is a popular reading room. We have fabulous new technology here for today's launch. I want to thank especially Kyle Christie, who's helping us with technology. And I want to thank Robert Cosgrave, our porter, who helped lay out the room. And of course, where would you all be without the incredible pink lady, Siobhan and her team in the cafe here in the library, who supplied our teas, coffees and our biscuits. So thank you so much. We're still waiting, I hope I thanked everybody, I think I have. I want to thank the wider faculty as well, other faculties, colleagues in Kenny Business School. I also have colleagues and friends in sociology who have helped our students tell their stories. The actual physical newspaper that you have in your hands today was also very much the product of some hard work by Kieran Price, who came in to work with us, and I know the students will be thanking Kieran profusely. Kieran is the production manager in the Limerick Post, so it's great for us to have industry people in UL helping us, teaching our students. Another former colleague of mine here today who's also on our teaching staff this year, Kathy Hanner from our team. Really appreciate the work and the guidance that she's been giving our students as well. So I think without further ado, we might just start, and I'll hand you over to just to explain again. Limerick Voice is led by students, so each year students put themselves forward for key editorial roles. Not an easy job to do, very hard for students to step up to be an editor in any situation, but certainly when you're managing your peers Very often we have editors who might be sharing the same house as people that they are managing. So that's really, really difficult for people working on stories that might have to be written and rewritten again. I know we saw that last week. So I must also say we're live streaming today's event on our Instagram, so thank you to Marina, to Nicole, our very hard-working social media manager, and Marina. They've been doing great work on our social media platforms. And I'm delighted to say our team of fact directors, Sandra, no pressure, has just arrived. As I said, it's a very busy day today, so we're going to ask Sandra, just before we hand over to students, just to say a few short words. And again, once again, we really appreciate Sandra taking time out of a very busy day. Thank you.
Literally racing here, and a good excuse was executive committee, but it's so lovely to be here and order going forward to a pre-roll later in you. So it's a real pleasure to join you today as we launch the 2026 edition of Limerick Voice, a publication that truly lives up to its mission, where Limerick is heard. And every year this project demonstrates the power of journalism to reflect community back to itself, to highlight what's working well, to question what isn't, and to shine a light on the people, the challenges, and the achievements that make Limerick what it is. And this year's edition, which is the 19th, is no exception. So this has been produced by a very impressive team of 33 final year journalism students. I may be repeating some of what Catherine said, so apologies if I am. But I think it's so impressive that it's featuring 56 stories in print and nearly 300 published online. It's impressive by any standard. And this edition offers a rich, rigorous, and a really compelling portrait of our region. One of the front page investigations looks at a pressing issue for the city, the sharp decline in footfall in Limerick's retail zone. And according to data analysed by the reporters, the city centre has lost nearly 1 in 5 shoppers in just 4 years. So that's a very, very important article, I would say, in terms of the city and the life that shines in the city. Another major investigation confronts a crisis affecting families and communities across the Midwest, the rising consumer use of crisis, and the community substance misuse team reported that children as young as 13 are accessing drugs through social media platforms. A very alarming development that underscores the need for coordinated prevention, education and support. But even as these stories reveal challenges, Limerick Voice also celebrates the resilience, creativity and innovation that define the city. This year's edition features inspiring local voices from entrepreneur Nell Stritch, and I'm definitely going to be checking out her work, the pressed flower designs which brighten homes and businesses, to UL graduate Leah Shanahan, who's the creator of the world's first fully accessible pregnancy test. And this is proof that ideas born in Limerick do make an impact way beyond it. I was also very struck about the moving testimonies of 2 Gaza survivors who are now rebuilding their lives here in Limerick. And their stories remind us of the compassion of this community and of the potential for new beginnings, even after unimaginable loss. Of course, sport will have to shine brightly in this edition, from the Sigerson Cup success and more, to reflections on the legacy of Declan Hannon. That retirement really marks the end of a remarkable era in Limerick hurling. And these stories capture both achievement and transition, and really show how sport connects us and inspires us and anchors local pride. Behind all of this, of course, is the remarkable work of the students and the academic staff who bring Limerick Voice to life each year. As Dr. Hayes notes, this project offers students first-hand experience of producing journalism that has real world and real social impact. Experience that prepares them not just for the world of work, but also for the responsibility that comes with telling stories that matter. So today we're not just launching a newspaper, we're celebrating a living, learning newsroom. One that amplifies local voices, investigates local issues, and showcases local talent. So to the students, to the editors, contributors, our wonderful journalism staff who've worked so hard, and the mentors who have helped to shape this edition, I wanted to say congratulations to you all. Your work informs us, it challenges us, and it reminds us why journalism, and I believe local journalism in particular, remains essential. So to everyone here also today, I want to thank you for supporting this project and for continuing to champion the voices of America. Your mother
Thank you so much. I'm now delighted to hand over to this year's Editor-in-Chief, Conor Curran.
Hi everyone, my name is Conor Curran and I'm the Editor-in-Chief of this year's Limerick Voice. I couldn't be prouder of what we've achieved this year. As fun as the whole process was, I'm glad it's out of our hands and on people's hands. Over the past few months, we've poured endless amounts of time, energy and care into this. It's clear to me that, like with many other things in life, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. Even before last semester began, I knew that. I attended the launches of 2 previous Limerick Voices, the first and second year respectively, and I saw the work they put into it, the incredible publications they produced, and I knew I wanted to do the exact same. I was crazy enough to go for the role of Editor-in-Chief, and thankfully our lecturer Catherine Hayes had enough trust in me to let me take the reins. I wasn't alone though. I was blessed with classmates who wanted to reach the same heights. Deputy Editor Conor O'Mahony, who led the charge of the newspaper, section editors who had a clear vision for the online and physical publications, and social media managers with an eye for what was good and the confidence to tell you what doesn't. Reporters who were eager to cover stories all around Limerick, truly embodying our mission statement, where Limerick is heard. Our mission statement was one of the first things that we decided on for this year's edition. We felt it was more important than ever to be the voice of the voiceless by speaking to the people of Limerick and finding out what mattered to them. So, with our mission statement ready, our team of eager journalists officially launched last semester with our incredible video produced by our social media managers. Regardless of role, was a team of incredibly talented journalists who knew Limerick Voice would be the experience of a lifetime and the chance to experience a newsroom like no other. We've all learned so much about the last semesters. Having Dr. Catherine Hayes' guidance about the process was absolutely essential. She kept us on track and was always there to help out. She reminded me that Limerick Voice was nothing short of a superhero to us. Without his expertise, the paper would be nothing more than a few Word documents in a OneDrive folder. We're also incredibly, sincerely thankful to Anna Fitzgerald and Limerick Leader for their continued support. Every bit of feedback and suggestion we gave helped us ensure that Limerick was heard. I'd like to introduce Deputy Editor Conor O'Mahony to come talk about the making of this.
Hi, I'm Conor O'Mahony. I'm the Deputy Editor for Limerick Voice. And Conor introduced me very well as well. My role primarily consisted of planning what went on each page and making the major design choices for the newspaper alongside Conor, who was fantastic to work with throughout and great to communicate with. I suppose back in October, I went to every editor and asked them how they envisioned their section. And what each one told me was exactly how it turned out in this newspaper. And how they even thought about that back then when we were all focused on the online side of things at that time was incredible. But the real work began when Anya came in and gave us some valuable insight into our pitches for the stories. And from that, we took that feedback, and me and Connor decided that on the front page, put forward was the right story to run with. And we did that because at that time, on the online, most of the stories were business focused. And it was not good, but all news is not good news, unfortunately. But we took a long break after that for Christmas, and we came back. We had 3 weeks to put together a newspaper. We looked at what was ready to go, and we put together our final draft of what the plan would look like. That led us to last Thursday and last Friday, where all the journalists, the editors, lecturers, Kieran, who was Connor's Superman at the time, and Catherine, who was biting nails for the entire thing, I would imagine. So yeah, they put in tremendous work though throughout the whole thing. Proofing, rewriting certain parts, they did it in a quick fashion and we got the paper out. 40 pages included all 33 of our students and even a first year on the back page, which was fantastic to include. And yeah, it just really shows the talent that was on display. So I'll hand you over now to our news editor, Kieran Oak.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here. My name is Kieran Onan, and as news editor of the Limerick Voice, I'm proud to help launch this audition and share some of the work our talented newsroom produced. Our front page story, which I know has already been mentioned, focuses on footfall in Limerick city centre, with striking figures of declining shopper numbers and the local businesses who were sadly affected by this. The front page also features this hard-hitting investigative story on teen drug use in the Midwest. The section also consists of coverage of local health and social issues, including antisocial behaviour, trolley watch figures and hate reports. In the world of politics, our coverage has been wide-ranging, with interviews from key local figures, including Mayor John Moran and TD Conor Sheehan. We were also given an amazing opportunity to interview 2 Palestinian men who are studying here at UL. Their tragic circumstances highlight to me the importance of sharing the stories of those voices who aren't always heard. They spoke warmly of finding safety, opportunity and compassion in UL, and hearing their perspectives reminds us all of how fortunate we are to study and live here, even as we report on so many local issues. To me, this section represents our mission statement, and I'm really proud to share it with you. On that note, I'll hand you over to our amazing features editor, Aoife Cahill.
Hello everyone, I'm Aoife Cahill, the features editor. So in planning the feature section this year, we had one clear goal in mind: to shine a light on the Limerick people who are succeeding brilliantly, just a little bit too quietly for our level. We wanted to focus on the women who are paving the way in their fields. Women in medicine breaking new ground, women in the arts, and women in business. But we didn't just stop there. We had articles exploring sustainability, food waste, and the impact of fast fashion. We looked at animal welfare, vehicle restoration, family planning clinics, media agencies, authors, J1s, and books. This year, we even had an article about graduate outcomes. And to any of the parents there, don't worry, the page is not blank, there will be graduate outcomes course. And what tied all of these stories together was not just achievement, it was impact. These are stories about real people making real change in their own communities. People building something meaningful, often without much fuss made. A big misconception many of us had when we this project was that we were just students. We hadn't earned the right to ask important questions yet, or we were too shy to reach out to people for interviews. But since becoming involved in this project with the Limerick Voice, our opinions have changed. We didn't just want headlines, we wanted conversations. And I think everybody who contributed to features this year achieved that goal. I hope when you read this year's section, you find the stories as interesting to read as it was to write. And I'll now pass you over to our Arts and Culture editor, Philip Lapp.
Hi, my name is Philip Lapp, and I serve as the Arts and Culture editor of this year's Limerick Voice. It's been a huge honour overseeing a section dedicated to the platform of the bustling culture of North City. Musicians, tattoo artists, and whale doors coordinating to its career to spotlight the culture that is exciting. Overall, I'm thrilled with how our small section turned out. The art section bear witness some of our most creative peers and gave us a range of ideas that we were truly passionate about. Thanks to everyone, of course, who contributed to share their passion with us, not only from paper but also our site. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the work of Sean O'Mahony, who helped keep the section afloat the past months, often tasked with the less formal press releases. Of course, all the artists gave us their time and to capture and ensuring local arts and culture received well deserved. I'll leave it that short and sweet like the small section, but I'd like to introduce you now to our talented sports editor and good friend, Andrew Moore.
Thank you all for your today. I'll introduce myself again. I'm Andrew Moore, the sports editor of this year's Limerick Voice. It's been an honour to be the sports editor for the 2026 edition of this award-winning newspaper, and I'm proud to say that this year's sports section does not disappoint. We've published 134 articles on the sports section so far this year online. The work being put in by sports writers has been nothing short of outstanding, and I'm happy to showcase this in the paper. It's been a pleasure working alongside Deputy Editor David O'Carroll and our dedicated sports correspondents Chris Ben, Kieran Rice, Killian Horn, David Jones and Jennifer Keating. To quote Bill Blackburn the Great, your ballers, your characters, and you play with ease. We also have some brilliant contributors to the section this year, including Alan Murphy-Reid, Angus McDonough, Marina Sanchez-Diaz, and Nicole Keenan. Of course, we lead our back page with the historic triumph of first Sigerson Cup for UL, a remarkable achievement for Gaelic football here in college. And I also think personally, I think it's fantastic to see such a current story make the back page. And in previous years, it probably hasn't happened all that often, so I think it's important to cover such a historic triumph for college. This year's sports section provides such a wide range of expertise for all you to sink your teeth into, from the excitement of the Ryder Cup, the resurgence of Limerick football, the current landscape in Limerick soccer, US basketball stars who are making a name for themselves here in Limerick, rugby players who are thriving abroad, honouring retired heroes in hurling and unsung tennis heroes, the rise of paddle, and questioning drug testing procedures in the area. I just want to say a massive thanks to the sports team, Catherine Hayes and the journalism department, Kieran Hunt who's here today, my parents who are also here today. Here's proof that I am actually doing work up here in college, I'm not just partying every night. And anyone who picks up the paper today, I hope you enjoyed it because we certainly did. I'll now introduce you to our podcast editor, Kate Kennedy.
Hello everyone, my name is Kate Kennedy and I'm the podcast editor for this year's Limerick Voice. We had some really great stories to cover and with the help of my deputy editor, Katie McNamara. I'd like to say we achieved that. I think we've done very good work this year. We've released 10 episodes, been listened to in over 35 countries and been streamed over 6,000 times. I saw the podcast as a brilliant opportunity to dive deeper into the stories the Voice had been reporting on. Sitting down and chatting to people, giving them a chance to tell their story in their own words really brings these pieces to life. One of our most recent episodes centres around a UL Master's student, Hamza Ibrahim. Hamza escaped Gaza in August, leaving his family and homeland behind. He detailed the terrifying journey from Gaza to Limerick, his mother's last words to him, and why his past motivated him to do a master's in journalism. He explained how important it is for reliable journalism that you can trust and to tell people stories who don't want to have their voices heard. And I think that's exactly what the Voice is about. Another of our episodes looks at the recent UL graduations in which the largest number of Irish travellers graduated from an Irish university. I was lucky enough to sit down with two of these graduates, Linda Killeen and Margaret O'Brien, as well as Dr. Cindy Joyce, as they discussed the challenges facing Irish travellers in education, the difficulties in furthering their education later in life and as a mother, and the hope they had for the future of the community. The goal of the podcast was to hear the people behind the headline, and I think that's exactly what we've achieved. I will now pass you off to our social media manager, Nicole Keenan.
Hi everyone, I'm Nicole, the social media manager of the Limerick Voice. So today we are proudly promoting our paper and all the hard work that has gone into it. But I also feel it's important to acknowledge that the way people consume news has changed. There's been a huge shift towards online journalism and social media. For many people, especially young people, social media might be the first place they encounter our stories. Instagram and TikTok are unfortunately where our generation lives. So instead of fighting that shift, we decided to embrace it. Our goal over the past few months has been simple: to turn passive readers into active participants. We wanted people to stop, engage, comment, share, and start conversations. And I'm happy to say that it has worked. So over the past 4 months, we've built a strong presence on Instagram and TikTok. So as you can see behind me, we have produced 157 stories, 119 posts. Across our platforms, we've reached over 675,000 views and 18,500 likes. These figures aren't just statistics, but they represent reach, impact, and people who are actively interacting with our paper in new ways. This year also marked another important milestone for us, as for the first time ever, we introduced a dedicated social media page in the newspaper itself. It might sound silly to hear social media in print, but we feel it reflects something so much bigger. It highlights the growing importance of digital platforms in modern journalism, because at the Limerick Voice, print and digital are not competing, but they're working together. Now I'll pass you over to Marina, our brilliant content creation manager, who has worked with me for the last 4 months, and she's going to talk about the type of content we create.
Hi everyone, first of all, thank you for being here. Just like my colleague before has mentioned, it is incredibly important on social media to connect our newspaper audience with the newspaper. When it comes to content creation, we need to targeting our audience. This is important in showing good quality content. In order to achieve the incredible numbers that Nicole has shown you regarding likes, views, and the number of posts that we've shared throughout the whole year, we've tailored our content for each platform, making Instagram more news-oriented and TikTok more fun and engaging. We ran a number of successful series throughout the year, including Meet the Editors, which was a fun way for our followers to meet the team. And I'm now going to show you Andrew has Sports Editor video.
I'm the sports editor. Of course, I'm always wearing Julia shorts. I'm the sports editor. Of course, it can't go on like this. Of course, I spend my days watching Jeff Sheep highlights. I'm the sports editor. Of course, I'm discussing tactics with Brown Thomas.
One of our successful series was our weekly news roundup, and our professional reporting style video where we share the most important news of the week, and that gave our reporters an opportunity to get comfortable in front of the camera. We have Shauna O'Mahony here showing us how it's going.
I'm Shauna O'Mahony, entertainment correspondent for the Limerick Voice, and I'm bringing you your weekly news roundup. Sister Stan, the founder of Focus Ireland, has died at the age of 86 following a period of illness.
I also wanted to include an example of one of our field reporting videos because they connect our stories with our online audience. So we have Chief News Reporter Anthony Cleveland.
I'm Abigail Hayden, Chief News Reporter for the Limerick Voice, reporting today from the official opening of the Student Life Centre. It was opened today by Minister for Further and Higher Education, James Lawless.
Well, theory has been turned into practice. I remember meeting with Chuck Feeney, who was so generously indulging.
It has been an amazing experience and a very successful year for social media, even though we still have months to go. It's been a pleasure working with the whole Limerick Voice team, with our lecturer Catherine Hayes, but especially with my colleague Nicole. Thank you. I will now be introducing Ashley Kavanagh, our online editor.
Hi everyone. My name is Aisling and I'm the online editor for the Limerick Voice. So I look after the website from uploads to mentors. I make sure our stories reach an audience. Online journalism is an incredible opportunity for student publications. It allows smaller outlets like ours to reach far beyond physical print and to connect with audiences we couldn't otherwise reach. On screen here, you can see a comparison between our website analytics from the previous academic year and this year. And while we're really proud of this growth, what's most encouraging isn't just the increase in numbers, it's the consistency. Instead of sharp spikes followed by long dips, the traffic has stayed much steadier, which tells us that people aren't just clicking once, they're coming back. We've seen website visitors increase from just under 16,000 to over 40,000, with page views more than double. And that doesn't happen by accident. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of work to make sure our stories don't just get published, but they actually get read. Mostly through consistent SEO routines, which I'm sure the team are so tired of hearing me talk about. And as a result, the website has become more than just an online version of the paper. It's now a space where the Limerick Voice can continuously grow its audience. And while we are here to celebrate the newspaper, the Limerick Voice this year was pages printed. We're still recording, we're still publishing, and we're still posting regularly on the website throughout the year. It's been a collaborative effort across our reporters and editors, and I do truly think that the results speak for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you all so much, and I hope that really gave our visitors and the parents, and it's wonderful to see so many family here today. I can also vouch that they have been working hard. So, as you can imagine, telling stories, which the Limerick Voice team, like their predecessors, have been doing extremely well this year, involves engaging with a number of different organisations, with people and with official bodies. And we're constantly, and I already thanked the UL Press Office here, but Limerick City and County Council, the press office there is regularly inundated with queries from the Limerick Voice team, and we're very, very grateful for their support in student journalism and in helping our students tell their stories. So I'm delighted today, representing the Mayor of Limerick, welcome Councillor Elena Sekas, just to say a few short words.
Hello everyone, I'm delighted to be here to represent the Mayor for this launch, and congratulations on this fantastic achievement. For those who are not journalists in this room, as a former journalist myself, I can tell you this is not an easy job, as Catherine said, and as we have seen from the presentations, a lot of hard work has gone into that, and people have gone above and beyond to produce what you're holding in your hands today. We are living in a fast-changing world, and there is a lot of information out there. There are lots of different information sources that we can access easier than ever. But the difficulty is in identifying what information is accurate, what is real news, what we can rely on. And I think traditional media, like newspapers, will always remain a trustworthy source of information that we can rely on for, accurate information based on facts or real news. And like we have seen in this presentation, and as you see in the newspapers, when you read this newspaper, when you read it, the future of journalism is in good hands. And I think we need to look beyond the paper itself, because this is way much more than a paper. It's someone's really hard work. It's someone's real commitment. It's someone's overtime. It's someone's sleepless nights. So, well done and congratulations again for the bringing up here.
And finally, last but certainly not least, and I think it's very funny that we invite the managing editor, the Limerick leader on the Fitzgerald to close the proceedings. We really are grateful, as you heard from the student, of our partnership, our continued partnership with the Limerick leader, the oldest regional title in the country, and somewhere where which really demonstrates daily and weekly how local journalism matters. And we had Mark Hennessy here yesterday speaking to our fourth years and our MA students who's the Ireland Britain editor of the Irish Times. And it really was just, it joined my heart to see how passionate our young, as Elena said there, Councillor Sekas said, how passionate our young people still are in ensuring that journalism continues in good journalism. So I'd like to just ask Bonnie to say a few words on the first female editor in the future.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for coming words. First of all, I just want to say that I actually love the decision yourself, and it was brilliant. And I'm in awe of how well you was today, and you're correct. I think they deserve that because myself, so after 20 years I still need my little comments. It's a real pleasure to be here at the University of Limerick today for the launch of this year's Limerick Voice. So I have the privilege of going out and meeting students in the newsroom last November, where we kicked around different ideas, books, manuals, and headlines. And what struck me on the day, and it strikes me again today, and waiting for my team to competition was just how much you had and you still have your finger on the pulse. Your lead story in today's edition of The Voice, that nearly 1 in 5 shoppers have been lost from Limerick City Centre in 4 years. That's just not a small lifestyle piece, that's a proper investigative front-page piece, and I really think it's excellent the amount of work that went into it. They've been shining a light on children as young as 13, accessing cocaine through social media. That's not easy reporting. That's serious, socially important work. And telling the stories of Gaza survivors who are now rebuilding their lives here in Limerick, that reminds us what journalism is really about, which is people, humanity and connection. And when I left the newsroom last November and I was driving out the front gates, I remember thinking to myself that they get what journalism is about, which is so important because sometimes you don't always get that feedback, but I really felt that we did understand what it was about. And at the end of the day, journalism is about fairness, balance and accuracy. And once you have those things, you know, that is proper journalism. And of course, we can't forget about hard work. And I think probably over the last 2 weeks, you have seen what that hard work is about. Producing 56 stories across news, sport and features, while juggling your other responsibilities, your deadlines, your own life in general, your own personal problems, which we all face in life. It's not for the faint-hearted. And when I visited in November, it wasn't just a student project, it was a working newsroom. And on that note, I want to pay a special tribute to someone who steers that newsroom every year, that's Dr. Catherine Hayes. Catherine leads this ship with a steady hand, high standards, and I suspect as well, especially in the last few days. Journalism is not an easy road. It will test you, it will humble you, it will occasionally break your heart. But on the good days, and I'm really serious about this, on the good days, when you do a story that makes a difference, and when someone feels heard because of something you have wrote, there really is no better job in the world. So remember, somewhere right now, someone is reading your work in the Limerick Voice, and they're understanding their world just that little bit better because of it. So I want to say congratulations to you all. Enjoy your day. It's really, really deserved. Thank you.
Again, I think I did thank everybody. I can't remember if I mentioned, but Limerick Voice is also one of the UL Engage projects, so I want to thank Maura Adsel and Senator Brooklyn as well. Again, I would speak to that piece about social impact, hearing voices that are very often unheard. And I think Limerick, as the mission statement of this year's Voice team, try to achieve Limerick Voice having heard. And just remember, we're only week 4, so we will continue to be heard. We'll set up an online presence. Today's newspaper will be, all the stories will be online. We have an e-edition as well of the paper, but you will get your copy, and some of you have here today already free with this weekend's Limerick Leader. Thanks again to the Popular Reading Room, to Weasel Shade for giving us this beautiful venue. We absolutely love it. And to Siobhan and the big ladies for the teas and coffees and biscuits. Thanks to the team for supporting that and Yvonne. And please enjoy some refreshments. And well done to you all. I am really proud. I know you're sick of listening to me. I will stay away just for a couple of days, but I'm very proud of you all. So well done. Thank you.